Hi you guys, I hope you're doing fantastic. I'm doing great. So in this video, I will be talking to you about all the books that I read for the month of April. So please don't go anywhere and let's get into it. Welcome to my channel. My name is Chilanda and this is Library Without Borders. So I hope you're doing fantastic. As I said, I'm doing good, thank God, because I am just coming from finishing a cold and oh boy, what's going on in Canada, if y'all don't know, the weather is very moody. I don't know if you guys have seen those memes where people literally today they're wearing like a jacket, the whole snowsuit, and the next day they're in shorts and shirts. That's what's going on that's what's been going on this whole month of May. It's been raining, it's been cold, then it's been warm, and then my kids, we can't tell the difference because today they're like wearing a sweater, tomorrow they're wearing shirts. Now they're going out when it's cold with a shirt, and obviously they brought back things. And if you listen and can hear it in my voice, trust me, I'm literally good now and I'm just finishing it. So without further ado, let me talk to you about the books that I read for the month of April. Now, some of them I will not go into too many details because I've already talked about these books in my previous video, in my vlog, and if you haven't watched it, please watch it. I will link it somewhere here, or Bay will link it somewhere here. Okay, so first on my list is Honey and Spice by Bolu Babalula. Now, I think I've rated this 3 or 3.5. Definitely not a 4-star, but 3 or 3.5. It's the story of Kiki and Malachi. They're in university somewhere in London, and what happens is that it has the fake dating trope, right? So Malika is this new guy who comes at university. Kiki is this lovely lady who has a podcast aimed at, the young women of the university, but also mainly Black population of the university. So she talks about relationship advice. That's what she does. You know why? Because Kiki is an expert at relationship, not. But she went through an experience that she believes gives her what it takes in order to give advice. So she does that. What happens is that she has a project that she needs to do, and that project has to do with her podcast in order for her to, branch out and grow bigger. So her counselor says, I have this other guy that I want you both to work together. I think you guys will work together nicely and you will help each other. So Malachi is wanting to be a movie producer. They need to work together, right? So the only thing is there's a little bit of dislike between those two. So that there is tension, there's also attraction. So y'all can just imagine, they start this project. She gives him a condition. She's like, I'm gonna help you, but you have to be my boyfriend, like the whole fake dating. So there's a lot of cuteness between them two. I really enjoyed their progression of the relationship and how the story was written, how the two characters, I guess, grew. You see a little bit. Even the storyline was very interesting. So I did enjoy my time with this book and I will recommend it. So next, I read The Last Guests by J.P. Pomare. I've also spoken about this, so I will try to speed through my explanation of the book or my wrap-up of the book. So this is the story of Kane and Lena. Kane and Lena are just an ordinary couple who've been married for some time, but I believe they're just like any other couple. They started having problems in their marriage. And the way the story starts at the beginning is that you have Lena who meets up with a guy and basically has a one-night stand with a man. Unbeknownst to her, there was a previous person that was in the apartment where she had the one-night stand with a man, installing little tiny cameras everywhere, which will bring me to my next point, is that there's these group of people who are basically signed up to a live feed of P-hole. So P-hole is what this man does is he installs camera in these places like hotels, motels, cabin, those places where people travel to enjoy and be in their privacy. He installs this camera and then it's a live feed that people can watch, like live, live, y'all. Okay, so if you're pooping,
Jesus is Lord,
they can see you poop and wipe your ass, or not wipe your ass. I don't know.
God have mercy upon us.
But anyway, so now Lena is in a pickle because not only did she think that she was very careful, now she starts to receive little threats. She gets followed. She receives a picture of her in that place, and unbeknownst to her, Kane, her husband, is not as innocent. Okay, and man, the end, the twist was like, yeah, it got me because I don't really read thrillers. So maybe for you guys who read thrillers, that twist you would have seen it coming. But the twist for me, I was like, no, really? So I would recommend. I think I rated this 3 stars. So, and next I read this Bad Boy. Now I want to say something before I talk about this book. I'm gonna start telling you this. I hate TikTok, okay? I'm gonna say this in every video because I'm on TikTok for the book talk part, okay? But sometimes I get carried away and I watch certain videos that I have no business watching, but And I was just scrolling, and it was the day after I actually filmed that vlog where I talked about Sarah J. Maas and all that stuff. And I'm just scrolling, and there's this book talker that I follow. She's also on Instagram. And she started talking about, she responded, I guess, to certain comments. And I was like, what's going on? And then at the bottom of her page, she put a link, Sarah J. Maas controversy. And I'm like, what's going on here? Come to find out that Sarah J. Maas used the murder of Breonna Taylor to promote one of her books. And I saw it, like, it was right there on her page, and apparently she didn't move. That happened like in 2021, and she's never removed that post, even though she received quite a lot of backlashes from everyone. She never removed that post. So, and I was like, I felt like angry because I'm like, I'm here reading her books, like, being all happy, jovial, promoting this and all that, when this is the author. So sometimes I get angry with myself because I'm like, okay, maybe I should start doing some research on these authors before I pick up their books so that I'm not looking stupid, I don't know. So before I make a final decision about continuing to read her series and all that, I'm just going to put a pause, because I started this and there's obviously a 3rd installation in this book, and I ordered it. And you know what? Of all my special edition books that I'm working on, because I'm working on a book haul video that I will be filming with just special edition that I've been accumulating. She's the one who's costed me a lot. Like her books cost me a lot. Okay, so I'm pretty not happy with all of this. And if I decide to sell this, I want my money back and okay. So anyways, so again, I already talked about this book in the previous vlog. If you want my in-depth thoughts, please check that vlog. But it's the story of Bryce again. In this installation, we basically follow Bryce on a journey to save this little boy from all these creatures that want to possess him, to have him because of some power that he has. And Bryce and Huntalar, or Hunt, who's this fallen angel, finally get together in this book. There's a lot of smut because in the other one there was smut, but with different people, not really with Hunt, but here there was. And we have like the mayor, who is this creature from water, and like I said, a bunch of creatures. I don't even know why I'm mentioning this specific one because he's been through there. So it's basically the story of Bryce, Ethan, Hunt, Rune. So they all have different adventures that they go on to, but the main point of the story is the story surrounding this little boy and this other girl, Sophie. And then at some point she does discover a big secret involving the Asteri people, or the people in charge of that world, and the way they came to that world and what happened. She stumbles upon that secret. So that's why you find that in this book. It was interesting, it was not like the first one, but it was interesting enough for me to want to read the 3rd one. But like I said, without controversy, I'm just gonna pause it and we'll see. Was it a 3-star? Maybe it was a 3-star, I suppose. And then you guys, I read this lovely purple book, which is Queen of Exiles by Vanessa Riley. Ever since I read Sister Mother Warrior, y'all know I've been obsessed with Vanessa Riley. I also read Island Queen. So it was just natural that I read this book. Now, it's historical fiction, and it is the book. It's actually real. Like, this book is real. This queen really existed. She lived in Haiti and was married to this man. What's his name? As I was mentioning, her husband is Henry. And Henry, the way it starts, obviously it's in the 1800s, and slavery has been abolished. No, it's not been abolished, but there are talks of it being completely abolished everywhere. But they're living in this free Haiti, okay? And her husband, and I have to understand the time because there are certain things I was fronting upon, okay? But I had to understand that it was the time. Henry decides that he's gonna recreate this kingdom, although he's not descendant of any royalty, whatever. But I guess the way the story is told, because they have lineage of kingship from Africa and all that stuff, they could rebuild that kind of kingdom in Haiti, right? And the thing with Haiti is that not a lot of people are for that idea, because they feel that if they go back to that kind of governance, it's just gonna put back Haiti back where it was with the white people, okay? But Henry has his mindset, and he decides that Haiti is gonna be governed by a king and a queen. So Marie-Louise is his wife, and she obviously has reservation about it because she does hear what the people want, and she knows that it's not really a good idea. But what is she gonna do? She's gonna follow her husband. Okay, boom, they have a ceremony. He is crowned king and queen. For the first few months, things go well, but as the story progresses, you start to discover that something went drastically wrong. And Henry had a lot of enemies, unfortunately, including, they kept mentioning Jean-Jacques Dessalines. But then I read about Jean-Jacques Dessalines in that book, Toussaint Louverture, and also in her book, Sister Warrior, she mentioned him. And it looked like he was part of the men who freed Haiti, but somehow now they were turning against each other. So I guess he wanted to be the leader, but then Henry decided to crown himself king without the vote of everybody. You know what I mean? And fast forward, I want to bring you to her exile. The way the story is written is that she shows articles. I want to show you guys. These are real articles that she says were printed, and she printed them word for word. So it is going from the story that she's telling, the present, while Marie-Louise is exiled with her kids, her two daughters. And they're going back and forth in the past with the articles, and then in her current situation, she is exiled somewhere in London, okay? And what we discover with the queen is that she doesn't have, I guess, the money, because Haiti got attacked, something happens, they got looted and stuff like that. So she travels there and doesn't have the means for the beginning, right, to live. And now she's stressing about a lot of things, about how her daughters are gonna grow and all that stuff. She had, I think it was 6 children, or was it 4? Because 2 of them died. 3, so she had 5 children. 3 of them died. It's at the beginning of the story, guys. I'm not spoiling the story. This is historical fiction, and I have to tell you certain things, okay? So 3 of her children died. I'm not telling you how they died. At least that's still, something. And then her 2 daughters survived. While she's there in London, as I said, she doesn't have the money, but finally she meets one of her husband's old friend. He comes and tells her, oh, they found some money and it can be enough for her to live until her old age. No problem. At the same time that she's exiled, she's now discovering, she's in a world where among white people. That's why y'all didn't understand. It's the 1800s. White and blacks were not hanging out like, hey, buddy, how you doing? Let's sit together. No, okay? But yet she was among the elite society, among all these exiled people, because she met a couple of people that were exiled from like Egypt or different places in the world. It was just a bunch of exiled elites, and she was also trying to bring her daughters to all these balls and parties in order for them to find, partners and stuff like that. The only thing is she had one daughter that was really sick. She was sickly. From the time she was she was sickly, and many times she feared that she was gonna die. She had to deal with that, and she had to bring her to a lot of hospitals or call medical help to, her lodging and stuff like that. And what I also enjoyed about this story is that she met this man. He was white, actually, very, and German, actually. They developed something between the two. But what I want to say about this book is that I enjoyed the book. Why it might not be for everyone, it depends on what you're looking for in your historical fiction book. For me, I enjoyed it because, one, it didn't have a lot of that slave trauma in the book, and I liked the fact that it's a story that I've never heard of. It's very different to hear about a queen and the struggles that she went through and the society. So like I said, it's atmospheric. I love the writing of Vanessa Riley. So like I said, it depends on what you're looking for in historical fiction. So she developed that relationship with the guy, and it was really cute. They started an affair and something happened. Okay. One other thing that I want to say is that Marie-Louise went through a lot of heartache with her husband. Like, I love the love story between them two, though. The love between Henry and Marie-Louise. It was really, really adorable. And you could see that they were both dedicated to each other. But the only thing with Henry is that his mind was failing him. Unfortunately, before his demise, you could tell that he was so obsessed with Queen Marie-Louise that he mistaken someone from literally getting close to her or saying hi or something, and he went crazy and killed that person, got that person killed. That's how he started becoming crazy, and he would see enemies everywhere. One thing about Henry is that he built this, I think, is it cathedral? I think it's cathedral. It was huge, and it was the only thing that he built. And at the beginning, you guys, you could sense that this man had a vision. He had a vision, but not the people of Haiti were not ready. You know what I mean? Like, that one person can have a vision, but if the world is not ready for you, unfortunately, you're gonna get a lot of attacks. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, that's what happened. He died. He actually died in a very, I would have not thought of that he would die this way. And no, guys, it's not by the hand of his enemy. No. So that's what y'all gotta read. When Marie-Louise was in, she traveled a lot. That's what I want to say. She did travel a lot because she had the means. She went to a couple of places. Italy, I think that's where she stayed. Yeah, that's where she ended up staying. About her children, I just want to say one thing. She outlived all her children. She went through tragedy. She went through a lot of heartache and pain. But I enjoy the book. Like I said, it's a 4-star for me. And I definitely recommend that you guys read this book. And this is a part of the history that obviously no one knows and they need to know. So please pick this book up. I read this book. I love this book. It is a surprise, you guys. And oh my God. Okay. It's a 5-star. 2 5-star books, y'all. Yeah, I know. Bet you didn't even know that. Husband didn't even know that I had a 5-star book. I need to talk about this book, you guys. So it is Chigozie Obiama, An Orchestra of Minorities. This book was a surprise. I picked it up and I was like, because I told you guys I want to read books, set on the continent of Africa. So in all my past, I was like, okay, I need me a book written by an African author. And I saw this man. First of all, take a look upon this Nigerian man. Okay, he Nigerian. So this book, you guys, is the story of Chinonso and what's the Ndali. Sorry, guys. And yes, I finished that 2 days ago. This story is the story of Chinonso and Ndali. It's a love story, y'all. Believe it or not. What I liked about the way this book was written, first of all, every chapter, the author puts some, quotes, those wisdom quotes, every chapter. And the way he would write, he would say, our fathers, our fathers, I guess, back in the days, would say this saying. So every chapter it started like that. So I love that. What happens is that this lovely man, Chinonso, is a poultryman. He's a farmman. He has a land that his parents left him, and there he raises poultry, goslings, chickens, cocks. When I say cocks, it means like the rooster, but here they use the word like C-O-Q, cock. And it sounds rooster. Okay, let's just say rooster because, oh my God, I don't want to sound vulgar here. So, and everything is going well until one day he's driving his car. He goes by a bridge and sees this woman that is trying to, I guess, jump off the bridge. And he's like, He tries to talk to her and he's like, look, you know, he throws two of his favorite chickens in the water just to show her that, yo, this is what's gonna happen. Then he's like, I'm leaving you alone. And he goes away. No problem, you guys. Long story short, a few months goes by. He's still thinking about the girl, but he's also thinking about his two chickens that he threw in the river. Like, you know? And what I loved about this man is the way he loved his chickens, y'all. Like the way the author transcribed that love of animals. It was beautiful. I loved it. I loved it. They meet again and he invites them, you know, at a restaurant. They talk. And get this, he lives off poultry. You know, sometimes he sells eggs, you know, he'd get the eggs from the chickens once they, you know, and then he would go sell them in the market for people to sell in their own stores or restaurants, stuff like that, okay? And what happens is that they start something, and before long, they make love, you know, they're together, they start a relationship. The only thing with Dali is that she comes from a prominent family, you know, the elite of the Nigerian royalty, right? Parents are rich and they have workers, housemaids. They have, you know, if you watch those Nigerian movies, they have like those gate guards. And long story short, but Dali's not like that. Literally, Dali starts a relationship with Chinonso, and she's there cleaning the chicken shit. She's there raising them, giving them grains and all that. And then she's in his house that is very humble. If not, that's me pulling it mildly. But then she finds herself over there and she's comfortable. And what I loved, again, you guys, it's the relationship, the banter between the two, the way they spoke to each other. I loved it. Let me just read you a few quotes here. There are some quotes that I just wanted to share with you guys. It says, a person lives because of the accumulation of what he has come to know. This is why when he is alone, when all else has peeled away from him, a man delves into the world within himself. Here he talks a little bit about history. He says, yet I must say that even then, for more than 100 years, the people did not abandon the ways of their ancestors. They took these things, mirrors, Dane guns, tobacco, but they did not destroy the shrines of their chiefs. But their children became convinced that the white man's magic was more potent, and they sought his powers and wisdom. Guys, I'm going to share a couple of them because I have to tell you a bit of the story so you can understand some of these quotes again. So what I forgot to mention is that the way the story is told is through a chi. It's called, he spells it C-H-I. So I don't know if you want to say chai or chi, but I call it chi. And it's the chi, it's spiritual, like it's the spirit, basically. It's a spirit. And he's the one telling us the story because he's within Chinonso. He lives within Chinonso. It's Chinonso's chi, spirit. So he's the one explaining us what Chinonso went through. As I was saying, the relationship with them two developed. So now he wants to marry Ndali. And Dali, the moment she hears that, she knows that her family's not going to take him. Yo, you guys, you don't know what happened. Yo, this book had me like, what? No, I had tears. I had laughed. No, man, I laughed so much. There's this part I have to talk to you guys. So one of these times, they're going out with Dali. They're just going on, you know, together, walking, and he's a village guy and she obviously lives in the city and she's studying to become a pharmacist. I forgot to mention that. So they're just walking around and then she sees these nuts. I guess he's never eaten. So she gives them and he's like, oh, they don't taste, you know, it tastes good. So finally they drive in his truck and all of a sudden he is taken with diarrhea. But it's the way he's so open with her. Like, it was just like, I need to go shit. And he literally, she's like, stop the truck. And then he goes to the forest. But it's the way the dialogue was described at that point, you guys. I was laughing. I was dying because he runs and then, you know, he shits And then they start driving and Dali's laughing. I'm laughing, Dali's laughing. And he's like, what's going on? He's like, I think it's those nuts. And they drive for a while. And he's like, I gotta go, stop the car. Stop the car, the truck. He runs again. And thank God, I guess in Nigeria where they were driving, there's a lot of forest because, yeah. At some point, the author is like, Chinoso runs away from, I was trying to find that. He runs away from the truck like an unhinged person. Okay. Poor guy was done. Like, she took care of him. And I love that type of relationship where they were so comfortable with each other. That was just amazing. So, long story short, I know I said that already, guys. Forgive me. I'm landing, okay? I'm a land. But I need to convince you guys to read this book. Please, it's a 5-star for me. You need to read this book, okay? So, at some point, when he decides that he's gonna marry Ndali, he says, I want to go meet your family. Yo, guys, the way the man questioned that man, first of all, they looked at him up and down, and they knew he was not worthy for the daughter. And Ndali did try to warn him, my family's like this. And they're very honest. Like, when I say their dialogue is open, they're very open. There's nothing. And the declaration of love between two, like I said, I've read enough love romance books, but this is more than romance. This was love. Okay, said in Nigeria. This was love. They're like, no, you're not gonna do it. And at some point, the dad has a party at home. That place, it's one of the moments where I died inside for Chinonso. The dad had a party. Not only did they not invite him, so Ndali's like, I'm not going. And she ran away from the house. She was staying with them. And he knew that situation was not in his favor because it was gonna make it worse for him. They're probably gonna blame him. So something happens, he changes his mind and decides that they're gonna come. No problem. So Chinoso goes there with Ndali. Ndali's very happy. She's like, oh, my family, they're opening up, you know, they're being nice, you know. First thing he notices, where he's sitting. It looks like he's sitting among other guests. Then her brother comes. You can tell the dialogue because it's very Nigerian, you know. They have the O and they spoke, was it Igbo? But they spoke in one of those Nigerian languages, but it was nice. So I could just imagine the brother comes and tells him, he's like, if you think that you are going to be accepted or go and dance or go inside the house, because they were outside, he threatened that guy, but indirectly, you know what I mean? Basically telling him, you're not going to dance with her. You're not gonna be officially presented in front of people. Like, you're not doing that, okay? Fine, that's fine. And he didn't say nothing. Chinonso took it, you guys, because he loved Ndali. He took it. Okay, not a problem. Then Ndali, something happens. Ndali's like, oh, no, come. And he's trying to tell her, but then without telling her that his family is doing all these things. So she's very innocent. She's like, no, come. And unfortunately, he goes in and the dad and the mom are looking at him, you know, but like pretending, talking to the whole, while they're doing a whole coming in session and all. Everybody's like, oh, Chinoso, her future man, because he did look nice, you know, and all that good jazz. What happens is that at some point, the brother comes with 2 men when Dali's not there, and they just tell her, like in his ear, whisper to follow those guys. You know what they did? They made him dress in the outfit of basically house men that work, okay? And he was supposed to stand when people are leaving, basically directing them. That's how humiliating they made him feel. They humiliated him. And when Dali discovered that, she was pissed. She's like, what happened? She knows, like, what happened? I was like, and what I loved about that, she's like, she wasn't with her family. She despised them for doing that to him. So she again ran away. Guys, I'm gonna have to land because I don't want to tell you the story. But what happened is that this man decided that, you know what, he's gonna go to school. There's a lot of reasons why he didn't go to school. His family, what happened to his mom, his dad, and he had to take care of the poultry, the whole business, the farm, the house. I'm gonna stop there. He decides that in order to get accepted in the family, he has to have a degree, because that's what Daddy said in one of those conversations they were having. So he's like, okay, no problem. Somehow, the universe, this is the chi. He's explaining how the story unfolded, right? So the chi at some point says, I don't know if it's the universe or whatever, but this old friend from back in the days comes back all of a sudden, tells him about this place in Cyprus where you could study and it's for cheap and all that, finish school in 3 years. Yo, the man is like, he's like, okay, he's doing calculations like, yo, guys, what he did, he sold his poultry that he loved so much to accumulate that money. And you know what he did? He gave that money to that old friend, trusted that old friend. You guys, I'm gonna stop right there. But from then on, he knows those troubles. If you think I described troubles, the troubles that he got after were not only traumatizing, but all of it was because he loved Ndali. He wanted Ndali. And ever since, he chose that woman, even when his friends were like, you know what, she's trouble. Not because she wanted it, because the family was that hurdle that he couldn't. But yet he's like, no, his heart just wanted Ndali. Things happened in Cyprus. Yo, that man did prison. Things happened to him. I'm just gonna stop. Guys, the end took me. I cried at some point in the book, but not at the end. I was like, my mouth hung. Was like, please pick this book. And in fact, I am sending a challenge to those booktubers of mine who does this thing. Please pick this book. And if you don't agree with my rating, please challenge me or tell me your reasons of why you did not rate this 5-star. If you've ever heard a love story as this one. Okay, so there you have it, you guys. My 5-star, like this and Homegoing. Oh my god. That's it for my physical books, you guys. So I'm gonna finish this by talking to you briefly about the books that I listened to on Audible. So I listened to Silent Woman. I had mentioned that in the vlog. So Silent Woman by Mink Kent. Now, I can't tell you much about it because they're thrillers. I don't want to ruin it for you because I feel like I tend to do that. Just because I want to tell you so much about what I read, certain parts, because how would you guys know that certain parts got to me if I don't tell you? This is a story of Sylvie Wells and Jade Wells. So Sylvie Wells is the ex-wife of, obviously, Wells, and Jade is the current wife. Hence the title, The Silent Woman. What happens is that something happens to Sylvie, big injury where she can no longer talk. And what the intricate part is that she lives on that big estate. That big estate belongs to Wells' grandmother. Wells' grandmother was this big star back in her day. So they live on that big estate. She lives in the main house, and the ex-wife lives in a little cabin within that estate. So Jade is this author. She's writing a book about the grandmother. And the way she met, she was just a regular girl, she was just doing her own thing. She meets this man who's Wells, and something develops. He marries her and decides and gives her the opportunity to write about her grandmother. No problem. But then the marriage is not as it seems. He travels a lot. That's one thing. And second thing, she's trying to uncover things about the grandmother, while at the same time wanting to know exactly what happened to Sylvie. And mind you, she never goes to see Sylvie because her husband said no. He has, nurses that go and takes care of her. So one day, there's a nurse that has to go because of an emergency. So she goes, and she has to basically bring her breakfast to Sylvie, the ex-wife. So she goes to the cabin, and then she stays there. She cooks the breakfast for her, and obviously Sylvie can't talk. What happens is that she takes a paper and writes "run." That's it, you guys. That's it. She says "run." Y'all know that from that word, everything now starts to unfold. Now she's trying to figure out what it run from, who, from what's going on. At the same time, she starts to have this friendship with the mother of Wells. And by talking to the mother of Wells, the relationship between Wells and his mother is a bit strained because she sort of abandoned him, and he was adopted by, I guess, his grandmother. So the relationship is strained. But what the mother begins to tell Wells uncover certain things about her husband that she didn't know. And at the same time, she will find out what truly happened to Sylvie. Y'all, I can tell you, but what would be the point? I don't want to ruin it for you, but the twist, yeah, there's a twist. There's a twist. So you find out what happens to Sylvie, and the fact that she's silent. Is it really a medical condition, or is she purposely being kept silent? Right. So it had good banter to it. It had a good rhythm. It had a good thrilling aspect to it. A little bit of mystery. It wasn't that spectacular. So it's a 3. It was interesting enough for me to listen to. I was like, oh, okay. It's a 3 out of 5. Next, I listened to The Housemaid by Sarah A. Denzel. And this story as well, it was interesting. It's also set in London. It begins with Emily, because the reason why I said that it will not end with Emily, there's another character that jumps in. I think there's a second part. So I'm listening because I was listening to it. So Emily is this girl who decides to go work for it's the Highwood Hall. Yes, she discovers that's where she goes to work. Obviously, it's these high society prominent family who lives in this big hall, and she's there as a housemaid. No problem. The only thing is that the first day that she actually works there, she is met with a bit of, how do you call him, animosity from the chief there, the chief housemaid there, Mrs. Hawksley. That's her name, Mrs. Hawksley. She can sense that there's something going on. This is like as if she doesn't like her. She doesn't know why. And then one thing happens is that there is this little dollhouse that is sent to that address, and it's concerning her. And that dollhouse depicts her in the same house falling from the stairs. That gives her a scare. She's like, who knows me? What's going on? What's going on? As she starts to work there, she is trying to uncover something. What happens is that she is there to find out what happens to her mom. What happened to her mother, because her mother worked at Highwood Hall, but she never made it out. So, and the story that was told to her was that she abandoned her. So, unbeknownst to the people in that house, she's trying to discover what happened to her mom. And boy, oh boy, what she will uncover will be the story straight from a nightmare. But let me just say that. But as she's working there, she obviously falls for the son of Highwood Hall. But there's something creepy about that boy, but she can't quite put her finger on it. And one thing about Emily, the character, is that she could sense that he wanted that whole power play where he's in command, she's submissive. And the way Emily described, she liked it, that he was sometimes, he'd like put his hands around her, almost like trying to, but she sort of knew it wasn't. She knew he wanted to play these weird games, I guess. And one day, while she's cleaning, she discovers that there are these different places, entry tunnels, okay? And she's trying to see if she can get anything, any documents, any papers, because she doesn't have the keys to all these places, right? But then one thing happens, and I'm gonna stop there because again, I don't want to ruin this for you guys, because I think you should read it. She befriended another housemaid there. They became friends and they would clean together, make jokes together. At some point, what happens is that friend tells her that she started something with the father of the son. And mind you, that man is old. He's older. And she thinks she likes him a lot, but then she doesn't know what to do because there's another man that works in the kitchen. He likes her. He wants to have a relationship with, Emily's friend. So she's kind of torn between the older man and then the worker in the kitchen. And Emily's like, no, you can't start something with it and with the old man. And Emily fires back and is like, you started something with the son. She's like, no, and there's nothing there. The next day, her friend is discovered dead by hanging, like she's hanging from a noose. Is it a murder or is it really suicide? I'm gonna leave it at there because that would finally lead her to break the tough nut or case of what happened to her mother. I mean, certain series of things will happen and she will discover a shitload of things. So anyways, you guys, so I enjoyed this one and it's a 3 out of 5 for me. It was a good thriller. So as you can tell, I read 3 thrilling books Whoop-de-doo for me. Okay, you guys, this is there you have it. Okay, that's my wrap up for the month of April. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm so sorry if it's too long, but I was literally trying to tell you as much without telling you as much. But anyways, thank you for watching. I hope to see you in my next video, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Ciao. Mwah.